oh, well, you just slap a label on a bottle and go about your day. And I'm like, oh, honey, we do way more than that. My name is Presley Powers, and I am a pharmacist. I work at the drugstore in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. So my day-to-day job there, I come in, I make sure all the computers are up and running, make sure all the staff's there. I then proceed to fill the scripts, input if I need to, sometimes physically fill them. I do MTMs, I give immunizations, which is what I'm doing today. We do compounding at my pharmacy, so I also compound time to time, answer any patient questions. I try to be as hands-on as I can because we are in this small community, and I really like that a lot. When I originally started pharmacy school, it was always thought I would come back to do community, and then I learned about residency, and I had thought about doing a residency. However, at the time of graduation, the opportunity presented itself to come back here, and I'm really close with my family, so I thought, well, I'll just come back here, and I've loved it ever since. I got to spend quality time with my family. And I really do value being in the community to get that one-on-one time with the patients like you've seen me do here today. We all know each other, we're somehow probably related, and it just makes what I do even better. When people come in, like you just saw that lady, she knew my dad, and then I knew her grandchild, and just having that kind of home family environment where everyone knows you and you know them, and you know, you see them on Facebook, so when they come in you can kind of relate to what they have going on in their life because you really know them. They're not just a number on a computer or a number on a wall. They're a real person. You can be like, hey, how are you doing? How's your kids, your grandkids? And you can really understand how they're doing because you see them every day. Being in this small community, not everyone has access to the internet. I know where I live, we actually had no internet access up until about a year ago. So I think it's just harder for them to get the information they need, but that's one good thing about being here in the community is when they come in with the questions, we have the resources to answer it, even though they may not at home. They feel like they know you as a real person instead of just a stranger that works at the pharmacy, like they know you. I was in pharmacy school when TikTok first started coming about, and I was at a football game, a UT football game, and another girl in my class, she was like, hey Presley, there's this new app that's come out, it's called TikTok, like I think you'd be great on it, you should try it. And at the very beginning of TikTok, you know, you had heard mixed reviews about getting it versus not getting it, whatever, and I was like, I don't know, and she told me about it, so I had looked into it. And then after about a week or two, I downloaded it, and I didn't create anything, I was just watching, and I was like, okay, there's other people doing this. So then I just would see something, get an inspiration, and just make a funny video in my apartment because, let's be honest, pharmacy school was sometimes a rough time, and if you just bottle all your emotions up, you know, you kind of go stir crazy. So I would just kind of film things that made me laugh, you know, someone else might not care on the internet, but it made me feel good. So it originally started there, and then it kind of transitioned over to pharmacy. Probably after a year or two of having it, my most viral TikTok, it was a late night, we worked a 12-hour shift, and I was like, you know, people get kind of caught in the lull of every day, I go to work, I come home, I work, I come home, and I was like, I feel like I could kind of relate to that, and then I heard that sound that was going around of Kevin Hart, and it just was like, you know, this is me, so I used some doxycycline and was counting, and just, I felt like I embodied what everyone feels sometimes.
I want to go home. I want to go home!
And it can relate to people outside of pharmacy. It doesn't have to be pharmacy. When the first video blew up and I jumped from like no followers other than like my brother to, you know, 17,000, I really have never taken the time just scrolling down through there and seeing who's there. But I have noticed a lot of them are technicians, and you know, they'll sometimes comment and say, oh, I relate to this at work. A lot of people were trying to guess what pill I was counting. And then it also opened a door to where I could educate patients on that particular medicine or anything pharmacy related, because then it opened up, well, what do you do as a pharmacist? How can I actually had a student message me after that. She thought about being a pharmacist and what does she need to do that. And it had a conversation with, I helped someone maybe get into pharmacy school or think about going to pharmacy. When it comes to pharmacy, like I'll have a patient interaction, like with the Manjaro, for example, and it being $500 and everyone wants to attack you.
Let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you something. Wait.
But, you know, it just kind of makes people laugh because I know, you know, mental health is also a thing. And if it can be something that can make someone's day better, I would absolutely love to do that for them. And it made my day better. It made me laugh, and my coworkers, and seems that other people made them laugh and they related to it, and so that made me feel really good. I'm kind of a funny, quirky person. People that have known me my whole life kind of know that, And so when I make my videos, I'm like, okay, what would make me laugh? Because I'm crazy, you know. But then I also try to relate it to people, because sometimes you think, is it really just me that feels this way about certain stuff? And I'm just like, well, maybe it's other people. And so I'll make, you know, and not all of them, you know, go viral, but then some of them you're like, people really resonate with, and I'm like, okay, good, yeah, we're all in this together. But I'd like to incorporate more pharmacy/comedy things together to educate patients, because they really don't know. They always put the stigma of, oh, well, you just slap a label on a bottle and go about your day. And I'm like, oh, honey, we do way more than that in there. You should just come to work with me for a day, which I may do a day in the life video. Pharmacy needs to be more present. I can't stress that enough. I feel like sometimes pharmacy is always on the back burner, especially on TikTok. Like I said, I always see physicians, dentists, orthodontists, chiropractors, and I'm like, we need to be out there more, because we are cool people too. We are more.